What is going on, guys? Super Insane 18 here, and we are finally back with some content, and to celebrate, I am going to be bringing you guys my favorite deck of all time, Mermail, because we just got some incredible support in Rage from the Abyss. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on in. Now, as I said in the intro, Mermails are my favorite deck of all time. I have been playing this deck for over 10 years since it came out, and we did just get some brand new support that actually elevates it to meta-relevant status, if you ask me. So let's go ahead and show you guys the build. Keep in mind, I will be doing one of my famous tutorials, so make sure you are subscribed with notifications on for that, because that should be coming at some point this week. So let's get into it. We are on 3 copies of Neptibus, the Atlantean Prince. This is by far the best one-card starter in the deck, and just an incredible piece for the water strategy in general. We have 3 copies of Atlantean Dragoon. Atlantean Dragoon is probably the best searcher that you could ever ask for. Anytime it is sent to the graveyard to activate the effect of a water monster, so that means if it is sent for cost, you can go ahead and search for any sea serpent. Now, this used to be the best target to send off of Neptibus, but we actually have a better one, which we will show you guys a little bit later in the profile. We have 3 of the brand new Abyss Rhine, the Atlantean Spirit. Now, for those of you that do not know, because this doesn't exactly look like an Atlantean, it is always treated as a Mermail. So this is how we finally bridge the Atlanteans and the Mermails together, because previously, while they had an incredible amount of synergy, they weren't actually part of the same deck. Now they are. This card is absolutely incredible, and there are some people only running it at 1, but the reason that we have it at 3B is because this is kind of a starter in and of itself, but we'll explain that when we get to the card that makes it do that. We are only on 1 copy of Heavy Infantry because it is heavily recyclable and you really don't need more than 1 of it. It does have a niche effect of giving you additional normal summons, but we aren't playing Diva in this version, so you don't really ever need those additional normal summons. You're really only using it for the discard effect to destroy a face-up card. Onto the actual Mermails, we have 3 copies of Abyssteus, or Teus, or Teus, however you want to pronounce this guy. Absolutely incredible. Discards 1 to summon itself, so you get the effects of all your Atlanteans, and then on summon searches for a level 4 or lower Mermail, which is incredible because it just really gets you, like, it gets your ball rolling. You get a lot of cool things off of it, and yeah, you guys will see in the combo, this card by itself, well, not by itself, but this card with any 1 water monster can put in some incredible amount of work. We are on 3 copies of Abyss Pike. Now, this is another one that I see a lot of people not running at 3, but the topping profiles have figured it out. You want to run this card at 3 because of one of the other cards that allows the Abyss Rhine to be a starter. We are on 3 copies of the Mermail Shadow Squad. This card, while it doesn't look like a Mermail and looks like an Atlantean, it is always treated as an Atlantean. So we are, again, finally bridging that into the combination of the 2 decks. Now, this is actually the best card to send off the Neptibus now, because this will allow you to summon out one of your Mermails, aka Pike. And that just gets your ball rolling because Pike Search is a level 3, Abyss Rhine is a level 3, so on and so forth. You guys will see in the combo video that I submit later this week. We are on 1 copy of Gund and 1 copy of Osha. This finishes up the Mermail count. The Gund is part of the combo because you want to be able to discard it and reborn a Mermail. And then Osha is part of the Teus starting line because this card is able to let you summon out something like the Shadow Squad and then a Pike and then just go off from there. We are on the 1 copy of Malanglacia because we are able to rip cards out of our opponent's hand really, really easily, which means they're playing less cards, so we have to set up a less threatening board. But don't worry, the end board is still absolutely threatening. And the really weird part is, and why I never liked playing this card previously, is because it makes you lose your battle phase when it leaves the field, but that is no longer an issue because the effect of Shadow Squad lets you discard to turn everything to a level 7. So then you can overlay with the Malanglacia into any of your rank 7s, and that removes it from the field without it meeting that condition of being removed from the field. Xyz material is like this weird kind of limbo zone, so you never actually have the downside of the Malanglacia. Then we have our 1 copy of Super Ancient Deep Sea King Coelacanth, however you pronounce this thing. This card is incredible, and while it is technically a brick in your hand if you draw it, it is a water, meaning you can always discard it for your water effects, but this card is summonable off of the Abyss Rhine, and what this card does is it discards for cost to summon 3 level 4 or lower fish from your deck, meaning that you can use this as kind of like a pseudo soul charge from your deck and just spam the field and continue comboing. And again, this will be part of the combo tutorial, so if you want to see how that works, definitely check it out. But it also lets you play through hand traps, because the effect of something like Neptibus that pitches for cost, if they imperm Veil or whatever, you'll still be able to get your Abyss Rhine by searching it off of something like your Dragoons, and then you can go ahead and summon this, and it's just incredible. We are on 1 copy of Armored Shark. This is a crucial part of the combo and searchable by one of our extra deck cards. You also use it to reborn one of your level 4s, in this case Pike, which allows you to extend into your Xyz lines as well. We are on 3 copies of Deep Sea Minstrel. Not only does it discard a water for cost, but it lets you look at your opponent's hand, get full hand knowledge of what they are on, rip a card out of their hand, be it a hand trap like Nibiru, Ash, whatever, doesn't really matter. But so you'll also get your effects of your waters, you'll rip their hand, and it is a tuner, which is important for the combo. We are on 3 copies of Perulia because it is water, so I like having this as one of the hand traps because it's not dead if you go first. A lot of times if you're going first and you draw something like Fuwalos, you're not really going to be able to use it. This you can at least discard for your water effects, which makes it an incredible combo piece. We are on 3 copies of Ash Blossom just because it is the most generic hand trap, and that's going to do it for the monsters. Onto these spells. We only have 3 of them. We have the new Abyssing Triana, Call by the Grave, and 1-for-1. The Triana is really important because it is a searchable reborn that you can recur multiple times, as well as using its graveyard effect to recur your Xyz, because you go through pretty much your entire extra deck on the combo. Called by because you fold to Shifter and DD Crow, and then 1-for-1 as a pseudo starter. Onto the traps. We are on 3 copies of Dominus Impulse. This card is a solemn warning from your hand with no cost, so yeah, really broken. 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence for more hand traps and interruption. And then finally, the last card is going to be Virtue Stream. This is a searchable water Icarus attack, being able to destroy multiple cards on your opponent's field, and just really strong. Main deck is 43 cards. Let's show you guys the extra. Now, the extra deck is really tight because, like I said, your combo is going to go through anywhere from 13 to 14 of your extra deck cards, so you really don't have a whole lot of room to play around. So let me show you guys what I found to be the best options that we have. We do only have our 1 synchro, the Ice Jade Jameer, or Gamir, however you pronounce it. This is kind of like a pseudo SP Little Knight that protects your board, because what you'll do is you'll chain it to something your opponent does, and then you'll be able to make your board indestructible and unbanishable, and then banish whatever it was chained to, so really strong. Plus it has 3k attack, so it won't really be easy for them to get over. We have 2 copies of Totally Awesome. This is very easy to summon. You summon it before summon 5, or actually Toad is summon 5, making your combo Nibiru proof, and don't worry if you are forced to use it on the Nibiru, that's why we have the second, because the combo actually makes 2 of them. So you'll end your board with 2 Omni Negates, not to mention that since we are actually playing a water-based deck, it will add your waters back to your hand from your grave, giving you guaranteed follow-up. So we have our 2 copies of Bahamut Shark to actually go and summon out those toads. Don't really need to explain that there. And then we are playing 2 Xyz Armor cards. We are on Xyz Armor Torpedo and Xyz Armor Fortress. Xyz Armor Torpedo is for the Teus line. You need to be able to send your Shadow Bodyguards to the graveyard as cost, so you overlay it with the Osha into the Torpedo, draw a card, get the effect of Shadow Bodyguard, or Shadow Guard, whatever Shadow Squad, sorry, to summon out your Neptibus from your deck, and then Neptibus does Neptibus things and you just full combo. And the Armor Fortress is a way of searching the Armored Shark, which is, again, very important for the combo, but it also puts more waters in the grave, making your Mullen Glacier live. We are on 1 copy of the Virtue Dragon. This card is really incredible because on summon it will search for the Virtue Stream, so you can summon this off of something like your Bahamut Shark, or you can just hard make it with 2 level 3s, get your Icarus attack, and then not just that, but it also adds waters from the grave to the hand, meaning that you can recur things for additional discard fodder. We are on 1 copy of Abyss Dweller. This card is really funny because you're not actually going to make this more often than not. You're actually going to send it to the graveyard directly from the extra deck for the effect of the Armored Shark, but if the matchup calls for Dweller, you obviously want to have it, and in that instance you would just forego the second Toad and send the Bahamut Shark instead. We have 2 rank 7s in the Gaios and the new Poseidra XYZ. These are really incredible. This card is absolutely insane. Not only is it a soul charge summoning 3 from your grave, but it's also a board breaker by returning 3 your opponent controls, and you just overlay it right on top of the Gaios. So you can do some really cool things where, like, maybe they have a really threatening board, you can make the Gaios, negate the effects of everything on field, slap the Poseidra on, bounce everything back, and then it's just really, really stupid. So yeah, that's going to be it for the Xyz. We have 4 links now. We are on the 1 of the Mermail Abysslatia, 1 of the Coral Anemone. You are pretty much always going to recur this off of the new equip spell, 1 of the Mermail King Neptibus, the searcher for said for the equip spell, and then finally is the only real like flex spot, but I don't really think it's a flex spot. I think that you kind of just have to play this, and that is going to be the Zealantis, because in tandem with the Anemone, it equates to a board wipe. Alright, now here's a bit of a surprise for you guys. I wasn't going to include a combo because the deck profile took quite a bit longer than I usually take, because I am just so excited for this deck, but because of that, I could not live with the hype and had to show you guys a single combo. So we are going to show you the 1 card Neptibus combo and just how insane this can actually be. Now, it is a little bit susceptible to certain hand traps, but we have answers for those. So again, make sure you are on the lookout for my advanced Atlantean Mermail combo guide, but let's go ahead and show you guys the combo. We are going to start with a normal summon of Neptibus and activate the effect, sending for cost our copy of Shadow Squad. That is going to then allow the Atlantean Prince to add us our copy of Dragoons, and then in a new chain, the Shadow Guards will activate, summoning a Mermail from our deck. In this case, it is going to be the copy of Abyss Pike. Now, on summon, Abyss Pike will discard for cost, discarding our Atlantean Dragoons. To add us any level 3 water, we are going to add the Abyss Rhine. Now, in a new chain, because the Dragoons was sent, we can activate the Dragoons to add a Sea Serpent. Here is where we add our copy of Mullen Glacia. Now we can go ahead and absolutely pop off, using the effect of the Abyss Rhine to send itself and the Neptibus as cost. This is going to allow us to add a copy of Teus to our hand. We can add or special summon, so if you need to go with the Coelacanth route, you just special summon the Coelacanth. But here we're going to add the Teus, which will then activate the effect of the Neptibus, being sent to activate the effect of a water monster. We can reborn any Atlantean, reborning out our copy of Dragoons. With 2 level 4s on board, we can make our 4th summon, which is going to be the Bahamut Shark, and we can activate the Bahamut Shark, detaching the Dragoons to summon out our copy of Totally Awesome as summon number 5, making us Nibiru proof. Keep in mind that the placements are a little bit important. You want to summon the Toad in the middle zone. That way, regardless of which extra monster zone you end up in, your Mermail link will point to it, making it untargetable. But now we can activate our effect of Dragoons because it was sent to the graveyard to activate the effect of a water monster. That is going to give us another search, which here we are going to go ahead and add the Deep Sea Minstrel. Now, we have 4 waters in grave. We do need 1 more. How do we get it there? We go ahead and we overlay our Bahamut Shark into our Xyz Armor Fortress and use the effect to detach 1 in order to add us our copy of Armored Shark. That puts 5 in the grave, meaning that we can go ahead and summon out our copy of Mullen Glacia, ripping 2 cards out of our opponent's hand, putting them down to a 3-card hand. Now we have our Mermail Abyss Teus, which we can summon by discarding either one of these. It does not matter which one, because you will be discarding the other later in the combo, but you discard one of them and activate the effect on summon to add us our copy of Gun. Now we'll take the Armor Fortress and the Teus. We will link both of these off into our copy of Coral Anemone, and it's important that we do it with the open zone underneath the extra monster zone because it has to summon to a zone it points to. We'll use the effect here. This is going to go ahead and resummon back out our copy of Shadow Squad, and now with Shadow Squad on our field, we can use the effect to discard the Gund to allow us to change everything to level 7. So now these are level 7s. Got a little bit ahead of myself with the special summon because Gund, when discarded from hand, will be able to special summon back out our copy of Teus. Now that we have a bunch of level 7s on board, we can go ahead and overlay our newly level 7 Squad and Mullen Glacia into our copy of Gaios. Now keep in mind, since we overlaid it, the Mullen Glacia technically never left the field, meaning that we're not going to lose our battle phase. We will slap the new Poseidra right over the Gaios here, and then we'll link the Coral Anemone and the Poseidra into the new Link 3 Mermail King Neptibus. we are going to be able to activate the effect of the Poseidra Abyss to discard and summon 3 level 3s. So we're going to go ahead and discard our shark, and that is going to allow us to actually summon the shark because it does not target what it's summoning. We'll summon the Shadow Squad, and then here we can also summon the Minstrel because we need that all-important tuner. In a new chain, the Mermail King is going to activate, allowing us to add the new equip spell, which we can go ahead and use a little bit later. Here we are going to use the Minstrel and the Teus, a level 3 tuner and a 7, to go into our copy of the Ice Jade Synchro, giving us further protection as well as a pseudo SP Little Knight effect with the banish if you chain it to something that your opponent does. Now we can use the effect of Armored Shark. We are going to send the Abyss Dweller, and that is going to allow us to reborn out our Pike, which is a level 4 that we are going to need in a couple of moves. Now we can go ahead and take the Shadow Squad and the Armored Shark, overlaying them both into our copy of the Virtue Dragon, which on summon is going to add us the copy of Virtue Stream, the in-archetype Icarus attack, meaning that we now have 2 pops on top of everything else we already have. We can go ahead and activate our Abyss Sting. This is going to allow us to non-target summon an Atlantean or Mermail, and you guessed it, we are going to go for Atlantean Dragoons. What we can do here is overlay the Abyss Pike and the Dragoons into our second Bahamut Shark. Now, if the Abyss Dweller just flat out wins you the game, instead of making this, you're going to send the Dweller off the Armored Shark and summon the Dweller here. You're going to send the Bahamut Shark off of the Armored Shark and then summon the Dweller here instead, but we want to go for as many interruptions as possible. So we're going to go ahead and Bahamut Shark one more time, getting us out our second Toad, and again activating the effect of the Atlantean Dragoons. This is going to add us our copy of Heavy Infantry. This is in the grave because we overlaid the material, but now what we can do is use the effect of La Virtue Dragon, detaching either of the material. This will let us add our Dragoon back to our hand, and for the final move, we'll take the Bahamut Shark and the La Virtue Dragon, and we will go into the Abyss Latia. We can go ahead and set our Virtue Stream and end our turn. So what do we have? First and foremost, we rip 2 cards out of our opponent's hand with the Moen Glacia. The King Neptibus is going to make all of this untargetable. We have double Omni Negates, which when we use them will recur waters to our hand. We have this, which is a Searcher, but really it's a pop, because when you use the effect to search, you're going to discard the Infantry, which is going to then pop a card. What we can do then is we also have the Abyss Rhine still in our graveyard, and this will banish itself and discard a water to draw. And what you can do there is kind of twofold. You can either discard the Dragoons, get a draw and a search, or you can use one of the Toads to recur your Heavy Infantry and get a draw and a pop. We have the 2 pops off the Virtue Stream, and yeah, I think that's all of it. So that is quite a bit of interruption. We have Recursion in the graveyard for all of our extra deck cards. We ripped cards out of our opponent's hand, guaranteed follow-up, guaranteed searches. None of our stuff can be targeted, destroyed, or banished, and absolutely just incredible off of a single Neptibus, leaving us with a 6-card hand. And there you guys have it. That is going to be my Atlantean Mermail deck profile and small impromptu combo tutorial. As you guys can tell by the length of this video, this is a deck that I am super passionate about, and I just love this deck to the moon and back. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, you know the deal. Make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, comment, and share with your friends, and do not forget that we will be doing a full advanced combo guide like I do for a lot of these profiles on my channel, so make sure you stay tuned for that. As always, don't forget to check out the channel sponsor Dueling Guard. Using code INSANE18, you can get 5% off your entire order, as well as help support the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.